Okay, I appreciate everybody being here. This is the December meeting of the PPC Classified Representative Group. You have in your packet your agenda, the minutes for the board meeting from November 21st. If you look over those, if you have any questions or any concerns, we can address those. If you don't have any questions, then we would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion. I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the November 21st regular board meeting as presented. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, you have a couple of action items. Policy 10.46 is the contract return policy. You'll remember that this is a policy that currently does not exist in the classified personnel policies. It does a mirror policy or a companion policy does exist in the certified side. I'm proposing that we add that primarily to be able to provide that third paragraph there that does provide a $400 stipend to any classified employee that is choosing to retire and lets us know that prior to February 1st. Also, my recommendation is if this group is going to approve that, you make the motion, whoever's going to make the motion, if there is one, would make that motion to make it applicable to the 2024-2025 contract. Without that stipulation, it wouldn't go into effect until July of 2025, which would leave out any retiring members from this at the end of this contract. Questions about policy 10.46 at all?
No.
Okay, so then I would recommend a motion that would approve the policy as presented and apply the policy to the 2024-2025 contract.
I will make that motion
I will second it.
to make it applicable to 2025 contract.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're on 3.2. This is the December bonus. You may remember that I'd like to present to the board a resolution that would provide additional compensation to every contracted employee in the amount of $500 on the December 20th paycheck. Any questions about that recommendation?
No.
When do they have to be hired by to qualify for that?
I believe it's any person who's under contract at the time of the passage of the resolution.
Okay, so if they were hired that same night.
I'm gonna say probably not, but
Okay.
We might be able to look at the wording. I probably need to have another conversation on that one.
I'm only asking because I'm recommending somebody for
Gotcha.
hire, and she's been working as a sub for months, but
Right. Okay. Well, we'll take a look at it. I would, my answer right now would be anybody who's under contract at the time of the passage of the resolution.
Okay.
So. All right, if there are no other questions, then we would just need a motion if that's something you want to do.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion to approve the resolution on the additional compensation. All those in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Okay, motion carries. All right, so we have one informational item. You have in your packet basically the calendar template. That was sort of where we started. I think we may have talked about that before. Maybe we didn't. I don't really
We didn't have
remember.
the calendars in front of us.
Okay.
But we did talk about
Well,
it.
the only one at the time that we had was just the template. So the blank one that just has the blue on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was the template. That's where we started. The blue are those days that we can't go to school on. Right? Can't go to school on Labor Day, can't go to school during Christmas break, need a full week off at spring break if we're going to take one, that kind of thing. So after doing some preliminary work, we come up with the one that is entitled or has the letters PPC at the end of it. That's the one that has the color coding on it. A lot of that information is pertinent to the certified contract because of the way the days have to be structured on a certified contract. But the idea was, having a schedule that was a little different. It's tweaked. It's really, honestly, it's really the very similar to this year's calendar, except there are some extra days out. So, for instance, if you look at, first thing you're looking at is, okay, why would we start doing PD? Why would we come back in the first week in August? Well, if you look at it, you'll notice that in September 19th is currently a day that would not have school. Part of the reason is because there was a vocal number of staff members who did not necessarily like having parent-teacher conferences and then doing a PD day. They wanted the day off. And so that's what that is. Parent-teacher conferences would be the 18th. Now, that's also, we are looking at on the certified side, we are looking at that to be a half day of school and then a full day of parent-teacher conferences. Okay, so one of the things we've talked about as a certified PPC is we are limiting the number of parents that we can see in parent-teacher conferences. Okay, we can only see parents who are not working between the hours of 3:30 and 7 o'clock. Okay, we have a number of adults in our community, a number of families that those parents are working at that time, second shift, whatever you want to call it. And so the desire is to be more open, providing more of an opportunity for folks who are working during that time to participate in parent-teacher conferences. That means we have to start parent-teacher conferences earlier in the day because going longer at night doesn't really help us unless we're willing to be here at 10 o'clock, right? Which is not. So what we're looking at is what would it look like to have a half day of school, because if we can do that twice, once in fall parent-teacher conferences and once in spring parent-teacher conferences, we get an extra student contact day, right? Then at noon, 1 o'clock, start parent-teacher conferences. so that we can gather those families that are not going into, or that are going into work at 3:00, right? So that's why that's on there. There is some discussion right now of that could still, I have some individuals who are like, I don't mind being here late and coming back the next day if it gets me out. If I don't have to come back. Right now there's a teacher contract day, the day after Memorial Day. There's some conversation about what would it look like, how do we get out by the 20th or the 21st of May, right? So there is some conversation about making that a work day after all. That's just conversation though. You'll notice that in October, the green days are PD days. So those are days where kids would not be here, but adults would be. And then the blue are vacation days. You'll see in there, that I think there's the PD days in October and January. We could always move those around, and one of those could be a PD day, one of those could be we could move those again. We can move those around to Fridays if we wanted, and create more 3-day weekends instead of, like right now. You'll notice Christmas break is like 2.5 weeks long for a kiddo.
What's the pink? Or are we there yet?
The purple.
Purple.
Well, those are student contact days. That's intervention days, which doesn't really mean a whole lot to this group. It means more to the classroom teachers and the principals.
So
But those are
It's a
student
regular
contact.
day
Those
for
are
us.
Thank you.
for you. That's just a student contact day.
Okay.
Kids are around.
Okay. The buses will still go.
Buses are
Yes.
still running.
That's
Yes,
all I
ma'am.
need. Thank you.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be up there. Yep. I'll be up there in just a second.
So the first day of school would be August 6th.
First day with kids. Yes, ma'am.
And the teachers like that? I mean, I guess the teachers have already gone over this schedule.
PPC has seen it. We've made some changes to it. And if PPC members are showing it to additional staff members, then yes, they've seen it. But we haven't sent it out wide yet because we're not quite done with it. Because you guys are weighing in. I mean, that's, you're a part of the process. This is not necessarily me bringing this and saying, here's what we're going to do. This is us talking about, how this impacts. Something like this is going to impact.
So we're still
Our
looking
class.
at a traditional calendar.
It's still, it's going to be hours.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's not a 4-day a week because I'm just philosophically against that. I've made that pretty plain. It's not a year-round calendar because in a year-round calendar, summer break can be no longer than 7 weeks.
Right.
So that makes it an alternate calendar on hours.
Okay.
And it is still 178 contract days
Yes.
for student contact, because when you build a calendar, you either have to have 178 days plus 5, or you have to have 1,068 hours plus 30. Okay? We have 178 days. We don't have 178 days plus 5. But we do have 1,068 hours plus 30.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So that's if we were gonna do a day-long calendar, then we'd have to say, okay, the 5 days at the end are gonna be snow days. But in essence, we've already built in our 5 snow days into the 178. okay? But we're gonna go those days whether we use them or not. If we use them for snow, then we're going 177 days, right? Or 176 days. Because we're actually going to be on an hour calendar, and 1,068 hours is really 173 days.
Okay.
So what is our last day of school this year?
The 27th?
It's
on
the-
that Friday.
Yeah, it's the Friday before Memorial Day.
The 23rd?
Or,
Oh, I think it's.
let me look at my calendar.
Oh, I might be looking at next year's.
Are you asking about the last day of
It's
school
the
in May of
23rd.
25?
This year, yes.
Yeah, it should be that Friday.
Well,
That
we had
Friday. I just want to know how
Yeah.
many weeks we have summer wise for us custodians. That's all I'm picky on.
You have more
That's
than
what I was
7,
trying to
which is
count.
what you get in a year-round calendar. I mean, if you figure it, you got all of June, all of July. That's 8 weeks.
Yeah, I thought we usually have
Plus
10 or 12.
Memorial Day week. That's 9.
Okay.
So right now you're looking at, if we implement this calendar, you're looking at right at, or maybe a day or two less than 9 weeks. Because you're
because
gonna
this year,
have,
don't we have like a work day on the 27th?
is that what it?
Or a PD day or a flex day? There's something on the 27th. I think it's a PD day.
Of May.
There's something, I'm
Yeah,
just
there's
not
a
sure.
work day.
It's a
There's
work
a work
day?
day.
Okay, yeah, you're right, it's a work day. So, yeah, that would put it right at 9 weeks. And then if we still had summer school, and then that would add, what is that, a week, 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks.
2
isn't it?
weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
And then your camp, your summer camps.
That's summer school and camp, so
Now,
yes.
this year, or this past
Well,
school year, they did it
the-
at the same time.
There have
Yeah.
been times, there have been times where you run them at the same time, and this year we're gonna have an elementary school summer
That's what I
school
was
as
gonna
well.
ask, cause the 21st century will have to have a summer something, right?
No, they won't.
Okay.
But we'll have to, because there's there's a section of it that says that we have to provide a summer experience for kiddos who are not reading at grade level. That's the short version. Okay, so I have a question. What does a half day look like, or how does that impact the kitchen if we do a half day with kids?
They still work the same hours. Because half day, you still feed the students.
Right.
So you still clean up after the students leave, so
So it really doesn't impact you at all?
no,
Okay.
they still work a whole day.
Okay.
Now, if they can get done early, sometimes I'll let them go ahead and go 1 o'clock at the earliest.
Right.
But they're still here usually till 1:30, 2 o'clock,
Okay.
which is their normal schedule, 2 o'clock.
And the reason we would do that, just so y'all are clear, the reason we would do that is so that we can get an extra student contact day, right, in. Otherwise, we either have to start the year earlier, or we have to go a day longer in the year, or we have to work on a day where adults may want, that break day in September or February. So it really comes down, that's the conversation that when we have this is always, would you rather? Right? One of the nice things about doing a half day from a certified standpoint, and classified contracts, one of the nice things about working the long day in September for parent-teacher conferences and in February is in those 2 days, you actually get 3 contract days out of it. Right? I mean, that's kind of how that works.
Because a half day is, they eat lunch and then go home, correct?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the different lunch times, cause
Yeah, I was thinking
Does it
then,
say?
do we have to eat early then, or I guess that'd be,
that'd be a question for your building principal, depending on what release time is.
So don't they start lunch around 10:30?
12, well, at the elementary.
Well, at the
probably.
elementary, 10:15 with preschool.
You're probably gonna start earlier than that at the,
And high school is done by 12:30.
Yeah, that's right. 11:40 is when
Yeah, they
they
come
come
in
out
at
there.
11:40.
but there's no reason if you're running I mean, on a half day, you're not just gonna go to the first 4 classes, right? I mean,
Right.
you're gonna redo the schedule, you're gonna build that schedule so that, you can start lunch at 11:30,
Right,
be done by noon and on the bus and go.
right.
So on those days, those days the hours would be a little different. I mean, as far as
The class day was
Right.
different.
For the,
Schedules will be-
for
Just
the
for the-
academic side.
Yes.
Yes.
okay,
Shorter classes.
Now,
short
the-
class period.
The contract day, it's still gonna be different, cause the contract day in essence is gonna be like 7:30 to 6:30, or 7:30 to 7, because you're getting in 1.5 work days. Right, so you
Right.
got 6 hours after the half day of academics for parent-teacher conferences. Which is why
That's Monday to me.
the day off
Yeah.
the
The
next
day off the
day.
next, right. Yeah, yeah, because sometimes parent-teacher conferences can be pretty straining, I guess, or it's just a lot.
It's a long day.
For a teacher, it definitely is, yeah. Okay.
This is one of those, we're not gonna make any decisions on this today. You need to take it with you, think about it, talk about it. Let's get some, if there's thoughts that we're not
feedback.
thinking about, how is this gonna, those kind of things. Then we'll surface those at our January meeting. Unless somebody's got a better idea.
No, my only concern would be my managers, because the 31st is your first professional development day, which would end up with the kids starting on the 6th. That would have to be my first delivery.
Okay?
So my managers would need, which they're contracted 1 extra day from everything else. My managers would actually have to come in either that Monday or Tuesday to do those orders, to get them in, so that they would be delivered on that day.
Okay, so tell me how that's different than like what we did this year when, teachers are coming in on because it's 5 days and not 4 days? See, because that is one thing. We have shaved off one PD day at the beginning of the year. So instead of 5 days right now, it's 4 days. And I will tell you, let's surface that. 2 of those days, right now, I haven't solidified it yet, but right now, 2 of those days, every adult in the district would be doing some training that teachers, classified, nurses, food, technology, everybody is going through the same training.
Through the same track. Okay, so I would need to keep one of my PD days open for that. 2 of them. My girls are only contracted for 2.
We may have to look at like increasing paying a day. We may have to do that I know we're gonna have to do that for our paras.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, paras, we're only paying paras to come in on
First day of school.
on the first day of school. So either we have to adjust the contract and add 2 days to the contract and, do it that way.
Okay.
Probably better off, I don't know, we'll have to look at it. Or we just say, okay, we're gonna pay you for 2 extra days. We're gonna pay you your, hourly rate for 2 extra days.
Okay. Because I gotta make sure I get the state required kitchen stuff in there.
So in essence, what we're doing is there'll be, of those 4 days, 2 of those days will be district, like everybody's going through the same training. I'm giving up my, district day where we all come together and and do, and I know that was primarily, this year was primarily certified. We invited classified, but I'm giving up that day that we did at BRTC because I think this is more important. And I'm trying to, I don't want to start necessarily, if we don't have to, on July 30th, right? So if we do 2 days of this district training, and then I'm going to give principals a day, and then I'm going to give teachers a day.
So we're gonna have 2 days that everyone in the district's required to be
Doing the same thing.
the same thing. Okay, and then you would have,
And then there's 2 more days.
okay.
I mean, from your standpoint, then there's 2 more days that before kids show up.
Okay,
In those 2 district-wide days, does that give me time to do the district-wide cybersecurity training I'm having to do now each year?
No, I don't think so. We'll have to see. Let me back up. We'll have to see because I'm not doing the training. I'm hiring somebody to come in
Okay.
and do 12 hours worth of training, and so that's where the 2 days comes from. Now, you know, will there be a time in there? I'm wondering, you know, maybe we could do it during a working lunch, right? We provide lunch for everybody while everybody's eating. You're going through the riveting thing that is cybersecurity.
Okay.
I don't know. We can figure something out.
Okay. 'Cause that just has to be done yearly now.
Yeah.
Each year before the start of school.
I appreciate you because I wasn't thinking about that. So
Okay, I don't remember exactly the changes to this, like the secretarial contract days, but bumping this up a little bit, how much, I'm trying to think in my mind, how much earlier would they have to come in, because would they come in 3 weeks early, or? I'm not certain now.
thought it was 2.
Is it
Could
2?
be 3.
When I was a building secretary, it was 3 and 1. So I would come in 3 weeks early and I'd stay a week after school. And I cannot remember how we changed it.
Okay. Well,
I'm
let's
just
look
trying
at
to,
that.
yeah, I'm just trying
We'll
to
look at
think,
that.
because I'm sure they'll be wanting to know how this earlier start date is going to affect, you know, their start time and their summer off and things. So I'll have to look at that.
that's what I was trying to look at for the managers, because
Yeah.
where everyone else's first day would be the 31st of July, my managers would be the 28th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here year round, so I don't think it matters to us, so, right?
Right, but yeah. I'm just trying to think of questions, you know, with the people I'm here
Yeah, we're gonna
representing.
ask.
So,
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
absolutely,
Right.
that's why
Yeah.
we're here, that's why you're here. Yeah, so do I do too.
Got you caught in the back room.
I do.
Okay.
Okay, well, this will give us time to look at this and you'll get your questions answered and,
Yeah, and if somebody asks you something, you're like, I don't know, send it to me.
Well, I just figured I'd send it to them and let them send me their questions, and
Do
then
we
I'll go
have
from
any
there.
professional development days coming up?
Yeah, January 6th.
January 6th.
I'm trying to figure out a good time for me to do that work at the junior high kitchen, the electric for the oven and gas line.
Well, January 3rd is the flex day, right? January 6th is a PD day. But I won't be, I won't be,
Kids that are not gonna be here.
they won't be here those 2 days.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's gonna be here on 3rd, are they?
Not that I know
But, and the 6th, I'm not using junior high for my training, so.
Okay, so 6th would be a good day.
of. Yeah. Okay, any other questions or topics you want to talk about before?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we just need a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
That's, okay, so we got a 1 over here, we got a 2 over here. All those in favor say yes.
yes.
Okay, all those opposed, motion carries.